I stared at the email, reading it for the third time to make sure I wasn't hallucinating. Alexandra, we need you to lead the planning for our 25th anniversary gala. This is our biggest event yet, 500 guests, potential investors, the works. I know I can count on you to make it spectacular. Let's discuss Monday. Dad. Sounds great, right? Except for the follow-up email that arrived 10 minutes later. By the way, Marcus will be the face of the event. He'll present to the board and handle all client-facing aspects. We need someone at management level for optics. You understand. See you Monday. Marcus, my younger brother. The golden child who'd been with the company for exactly 8 months, and whose biggest achievement was not spilling coffee on the quarterly reports. I'd been planning events for Hammond & Associates, my family's corporate event planning firm, for 7 years. 7 years of 12-hour days, of turning impossible deadlines into flawless execution, of making my parents look good in front of every major client in Boston. But I wasn't management level. Let me paint you a picture of how I got here. I'm Alexandra Hammond, 29 years old, and I've been invisible my entire life. Not literally, I'm 5'7". I exist in physical space. But in my family, I might as well be a ghost. My parents, Richard and Patricia Hammond, built their event planning empire from the ground up. They're brilliant at what they do. They're also brilliant at playing favorites. And I've never been the favorite. That title belongs to Marcus, my 25-year-old brother who can do no wrong. Marcus, who partied through college while I graduated summa cum laude. Marcus, who got handed a director title the day he joined the company. Marcus, who still lives at home because why waste money on rent? Me? I'd been grinding since day one. Started as an intern, even though I was the owner's daughter. Worked my way up to senior event coordinator. Took the jobs no one else wanted. Solved the problems everyone else created. And for what? I picked up my phone. It was Saturday afternoon, and I was sitting in my tiny studio apartment in Somerville, the one I could barely afford on my salary, the one that was somehow too extravagant, according to my mother, who lived in a 6-bedroom colonial in Wellesley. My best friend Maya had been telling me for years that I needed to leave. "They're never going to see you, Alex," she'd said over drinks last week. "You could plan the perfect wedding for the Queen of England and your dad would still find a way to give Marcus credit." She wasn't wrong. The anniversary gala was supposed to be in 6 weeks. 6 weeks to pull off the event that would define the company's reputation for the next quarter century. 6 weeks to make my family proud. Except I wouldn't even be at the event. The guest list had come through that morning. I'd seen it before the email arrived. My name wasn't on it. 500 guests, including every major player in Boston's corporate scene, and the person who spent 7 years building the client relationships that made those connections possible wasn't invited. Not management level. I laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. It was the laugh of someone who'd finally reached their breaking point. My phone buzzed. "Maya, coffee? You sound like you need coffee." 20 minutes later, we were at our usual spot in Davis Square. I showed her the emails. "Oh, hell no," Maya said, her voice rising enough that the barista looked over. "Hell. No. Tell me you're not doing it." "I don't know," I said. "It's my family's company." "It's your family's company that treats you like the help." Maya stirred her oat milk latte with enough force to create a small whirlpool. "When was the last time they appreciated you?" "Actually, don't answer that." "I'll answer. Never. When your mom had that health scare last year, who took over her entire workload? Me? And who got the Employee of the Quarter award that quarter? Marcus. But he did help with he showed up to one meeting, Alex. One. And you know this how? Because I was there. I saw you doing everything while he took credit." I slumped in my chair. "What am I supposed to do? Quit? It's the family business." Maya leaned forward. "Do you remember Sarah Chen?" Sarah had been a coordinator at Hammond & Associates 3 years ago. Brilliant, creative, hardworking. She'd left to join Meridian Events, our biggest competitor. "She just made partner," Maya continued. "Partner, Alex. At 31. She sent me a message last week asking if I knew anyone talented who was tired of not being seen. I think she was fishing to see if you were ready to jump ship." My heart started beating faster. "Meridian? They're opening a new division. Luxury corporate events? Sarah's heading it up. She specifically mentioned wanting someone who understands the Boston market and has experience with high-profile clients. That's literally my job description." "Exactly." Maya pulled out her phone. "I'm texting her right now." "Wait." But she was already typing. 30 seconds later, her phone pinged. "She wants to meet with you. Tomorrow. 11 a.m. Their office in Back Bay." I stared at the message on Maya's screen. This was insane. You didn't just leave your family's company. You didn't betray your parents like that. Except, was it really betrayal when they'd never valued me in the first place? That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about every event I'd planned, every crisis I'd solved, every time I'd made my parents look good while they gave Marcus the credit. The Caldwell wedding where the entire catering company canceled 4 hours before the reception, and I'd called in every favor I had to pull together a 5-star meal. Marcus got to make the speech about our innovative problem-solving. The TechBridge conference where I'd managed 300 attendees across 2 days of programming. Dad introduced Marcus to the CEO as the mastermind behind the operation. The Morrison anniversary party where I'd personally spent 2 weeks tracking down the couple's favorite band from the 1,970 seconds. Mom posted on LinkedIn about Marcus's attention to detail and dedication to client satisfaction. 7 years. 7 years of this. At DOSA, Emma, I made my decision. The next morning, I put on my best interview suit, the navy Tahari I'd bought with my own money, because my mom said the budget didn't include unnecessary wardrobe expenses for non-management staff. Meridian Events office was everything Hammond and Associates wasn't. Modern, bright, with actual plants that were alive and an espresso machine that didn't require 3 sacrifices to the coffee gods to function. Sarah Chen met me in the lobby. She looked different from how I remembered, more confident, more polished. Success looked good on her. "Alex," she said, shaking my hand. "I'm so glad you came. I've been following your work. That charity gala you did last spring for the Children's Hospital? Spectacular." I blinked. "You saw that?" "Of course. The industry's not that big. Everyone knows Hammond's best work has your fingerprints all over it, even if your name isn't on the press releases." We went to a conference room with a view of the Boston Common. Sarah didn't waste time. "I'll be direct. I want you on my team. Senior event director, leading our luxury corporate division. Your own accounts, your own team, and you get full credit for your work. Your name on the proposals, your face in the client meetings. What's the catch?" "No catch." "Well, one catch, I need someone who can hit the ground running. We've got a client who wants us to pitch for their annual shareholder gala. It's in 6 weeks. 250 guests, high profile, make or break kind of event. 6 weeks, the same timeline as my family's anniversary gala." "What company?" I asked, though I had a feeling I knew. "Hartford Industries. I know they've worked with Hammond before, but their contract is up for renewal. They're taking pitches from multiple firms. Hartford, one of our oldest clients. I'd been managing their account for 3 years. I knew their preferences, their budget sweet spots, their CEO's wife's inexplicable hatred of carnations. This was it. This was the universe handing me a choice. "I need to think about it," I said. Sarah smiled. "Take 24 hours. That's all I can give you. If you're interested, I need you to start Wednesday." Wednesday. 2 days before I was supposed to have my first planning meeting with my parents about the anniversary gala, I spent the rest of Sunday walking around Boston, trying to clear my head. I ended up at the public garden, sitting by the pond where my dad used to take me when I was little, back before Marcus was born, back when I thought maybe I could be enough. My phone rang. "Dad. Alexandra. About Monday's meeting. Your mother and I were thinking Marcus should probably take the lead on the client communications. He's been working on his presentation skills." Something in me snapped. "Actually, Dad, I need to talk to you about something." "Can it wait?" "I'm on the golf course?" Of course he was. "No, it can't. I'm not doing the gala." Silence. Then, "What do you mean you're not doing it?" "Alex, this is the most important event in the company's history. Then maybe you should have the person you trust to be management-level plan it." "This isn't funny. We need you." "No, you need my work. You don't need me. There's a difference." "Alexandra, I'm done, Dad. I'm giving you my 2 weeks' notice tomorrow, but I won't be working on the gala. Find someone else. I'm sure Marcus can handle it." I hung up before he could respond. My hands were shaking. I'd just quit. I'd actually quit. My phone immediately started ringing again. Dad, then Mom, then a text from Marcus. Dad is freaking out. I turned my phone to airplane mode and went home. Monday morning, I showed up to the Meridian Events office at 8 a.m. "I'm in," I told Sarah. "When do I start?" She grinned. "How about now? Let's go win Hartford." The next 2 weeks were a blur. I drafted my resignation letter, sent it via email, and refused to take calls from my parents. Maya helped me move the last of my personal items from my Hammond and Associates desk while everyone was at lunch. There wasn't much. I'd never been allowed to personalize my workspace. "Not professional," Mom had said. The Hartford pitch was in 3 weeks. I assembled a team, dove into research, and crafted a proposal that showcased everything I'd learned in 7 years at Hammond. My parents tried everything. Dad showed up at my apartment. Mom sent a priest, an actual priest, to talk to me about family values. Marcus sent drunk texts alternating between begging me to come back and calling me a traitor. The one that almost got me was from Mom, 2 days before the Hartford pitch. The gala is falling apart. Marcus is doing his best, but he needs help. Please, Alexandra. For the family. I stared at that text for a long time. That old guilt, that old instinct to fix everything, to make sure everyone else was okay, even if it meant I wasn't, it was still there. Maya found me sitting on my couch at midnight, phone in hand. Don't, she said simply. They're struggling. And whose fault is that? Did they struggle when you were doing all the work? No. They just took credit and moved on. Now they're learning what it's like to actually do the job. She was right. I knew she was right. I put my phone down. Hartford pitch is in 2 days. Then let's make sure you're ready to knock it out of the park. The Hartford pitch took place in a conference room at their headquarters in the financial district. Sarah and I presented together, her handling the budget and logistics overview, me walking through the creative vision and execution plan. I'd created a full mock-up of their event, from the initial cocktail hour through the dinner program and after party. I'd sourced a jazz quartet that specialized in 1,940 seconds, music a nod to the decade Hartford was founded. I'd designed centerpieces incorporating the company's brand colors in a way that was elegant, not tacky. I'd even arranged for their founder's granddaughter, a celebrated chef, to cater the event. When we finished, the Hartford team sat in silence for a moment. Then their CEO, Catherine Hartford, smiled. "Where has this been for the last 3 years?" she asked. "Don't get me wrong, Hammond did fine work, but this is exceptional. Hammond's best coordinator is sitting right here," Sarah said, gesturing to me. She just wasn't getting the credit for it. Catherine looked at me with new understanding. "You're Richard Hammond's daughter." "Was," I said. "I'm with Meridian now." "Well, Meridian just won our business. Can you execute this in 4 weeks?" I smiled. "Absolutely." Walking out of that building, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Pride. Not the reflected pride of making my parents look good, but actual pride in my own accomplishment. My phone had 17 missed calls. I scrolled through them. Dad, Mom, Marcus, Dad again, someone from Hammond's admin team, and one from a number I didn't recognize. The voicemail was from Marcus, but he was calling from somewhere else. "Alex, Look, I know I screwed up. The gala is in 2 weeks and it's a disaster. The caterer quit, half the RSVPs haven't come in, and I accidentally double-booked the venue. Dad won't admit it, but he's panicking. Mom's not speaking to either of us. I know I don't deserve your help, but the company is going to lose everything if this event fails. All those people who depend on us for jobs, the coordinators, the admin staff, the part-timers, they didn't do anything wrong. Please call me back. Damn it." I met with Marcus at a coffee shop in Cambridge, neutral territory. He looked terrible, dark circles under his eyes, wrinkled shirt, defeated posture. "When's the last time you slept?" I asked. "What day is it?" I sighed. "Tell me everything that's wrong." He pulled out a notebook, my old notebook, actually, the one I used for event planning. It was filled with his messy handwriting, crossed-out plans, question marks everywhere. The Fairmont pulled out because I missed a deposit deadline. The backup venue is available, but it's half the size. The catering company wants 50% more than budgeted because it's such short notice. The entertainment canceled. Half the board members' spouses never got their invitations because I forgot to add them to the guest list. And Dad's biggest investor, Thomas Brennan? His wife hates the color scheme I picked and threatened to not come. It was worse than I'd thought. What did Dad and Mom say when you told them? I haven't. Dad keeps saying, "You've got this, son. Show them what a Hammond can do." I can't tell him I'm failing. For the first time, I felt something other than resentment toward Marcus. He looked genuinely terrified. "You should have learned the business first before they gave you that title," I said quietly. "I know," he rubbed his face. "I know. I thought it would be easy. You made it look easy. I didn't realize how much work went into every single event until I had to do it myself. You took credit for my work for years." "I know. I'm sorry. I was an idiot. I liked the attention and I didn't think about what it cost you." He looked up. "I'm not asking you to come back. I know I don't deserve that. But could you maybe just tell me what to do? Like, a roadmap? I'll do the work. I just need to know what the work is." I thought about leaving, about letting this event fail, letting my parents learn what it was like to lose everything they'd built on the back of work they never appreciated. But Marcus was right about one thing. The 23 other employees at Hammond didn't deserve to lose their jobs because my family was dysfunctional. "I'll help," I said. "But I have conditions." Anything. First, you tell mom and dad the truth. Everything. You tell them you took credit for my work, that you're in over your head, and that I'm helping because I don't want innocent people to lose their jobs. He paled but nodded. Second, after this event, you're going to actually learn the business. Start from the bottom. Shadow the coordinators. Learn what it takes. Okay. Third, I want a formal acknowledgement. Email to all staff, post on the company's social media, something that says, Alexandra Hammond was instrumental in saving this event. I'm done being invisible. Done. I'll write it tonight and send it the day after the gala. Not the day after. The day of. Before the event starts. He nodded. We spent the next 12 days in controlled chaos. I couldn't abandon Hartford, that was my job now, my future, so I worked on both events simultaneously. 18-hour days, fueled by coffee and spite. For Hammond's gala, I called in every favor I'd accumulated in 7 years. I got them a better venue than the original, the Boston Public Library's Central Branch, which owed me after I'd saved their spring fundraiser 3 years ago. I negotiated with my Hartford vendor contacts to get deals on catering and flowers. I personally redesigned the color scheme to appease Thomas Brennan's wife. Marcus did exactly what I told him to do. He made calls, he handled logistics, he actually worked for once in his life. And to his credit, he followed through on the email. The morning of the gala, every Hammond & Associates employee, client, and social media follower received this. I need to make something clear. The success of today's 25th anniversary gala is due entirely to my sister, Alexandra Hammond. Over the past 7 years, Alex has been the driving force behind our most successful events. I took credit for her work. Our parents gave me opportunities I hadn't earned while overlooking her contributions. This gala would have failed without her expertise and generosity in helping despite how we've treated her. Alex has moved on to a better opportunity at Meridian Events, where she's valued appropriately. To our clients, if you want Hammond quality, you should know it was always Alex quality. We were just too blind to see it. Marcus Hammond. My mother called me screaming. My father left a voicemail that I'm pretty sure violated several workplace harassment laws. But by that evening, when 500 guests arrived at the Boston Public Library for a flawless event complete with a swing band, 5-course dinner, and a champagne tower that actually didn't collapse, the Hammond & Associates social media was flooded with comments. Always knew Alex was the secret weapon. About time someone gave credit where it's due. Meridian Events is lucky to have her. I didn't attend the gala, obviously. Instead, I was at the Hartford shareholder event, watching my team execute the plan we'd spent a month perfecting. Catherine Hartford pulled me aside during the cocktail hour. I heard about the drama at your old firm, she said. That took courage, what your brother did. Admitting the truth publicly. He surprised me, I admitted. You know what surprised me? Finding out that the coordinator who'd been managing our account, the one who always knew exactly what we needed, who made every event special, was being credited to someone else. She sipped her champagne. I'm glad you're getting your due now. And Alex? We're not your only account anymore. I've been telling everyone I know about Meridian's new luxury division. You're about to get very busy. She was right. Over the next month, we booked 6 new corporate clients. Sarah promoted me to partner. My name went on the door. Chen and Hammond Events. Hammond & Associates didn't fail, but they didn't thrive either. 3 of their senior coordinators left to join other firms. Several longtime clients switched to competitors. My parents had to actually learn how to do the operational work they'd been outsourcing to me for years. Marcus kept his word. He moved out of the house, took a salary cut, and started shadowing the junior coordinators. He texted me photos of event setups with captions like, "Is this centerpiece too tall?" and "Help, I can't get the projector to work." I didn't respond to most of them. But sometimes, when he asked a question that showed he was genuinely trying to learn, I'd send a brief answer. 3 months after the gala, my parents asked to meet me for coffee. I almost said no, but Maya convinced me to hear them out. We met at the same Davis Square cafe, where I'd made my decision to leave. Dad looked older. Mom looked tired. We were wrong, Dad said without preamble. About everything. About how we treated you. About Marcus. About the business. We built this company on the idea that family comes first, but we never actually treated you like family. We treated you like staff. Mom reached across the table but didn't quite touch my hand. I've been thinking about why we did that. I think I saw too much of myself in you. How hard you worked. How much you cared. It scared me because I remembered how much it hurt when people didn't value my work when I was starting out. Instead of protecting you from that, I did the same thing to you. That's not an excuse, Dad added. There's no excuse. We're sorry, Alexandra. Truly sorry. I sat there, waiting for the catch. The but you should come back or but you still owe us. It didn't come. We're not asking you to return to the company, Mom said. We know that ship has sailed. We're asking if, eventually, you might be willing to have a relationship with us that isn't about business. As a family, I thought about all the years of hurt, of being invisible, of watching Marcus get everything I'd earned. I also thought about the fact that holding on to anger was exhausting, and I was tired of being tired. Eventually, I said. But it's going to take time. And therapy. Probably lots of therapy. Dad actually smiled. We've already started. Marcus found us a family therapist. We've had 2 sessions. Marcus did? He's full of surprises lately, Mom said. Turns out when you actually have to work for something, you develop character. It wasn't a fairy tale ending. I didn't go back to Hammond and Associates. I didn't immediately forgive everything. But over the next year, we started having monthly dinners. My parents came to the ribbon cutting when we opened Chen and Hammond's second office. They actually asked about my life, my work, my dreams. Marcus became a decent event coordinator. Not great, but decent. He sent me a birthday card with a gift certificate to a spa and a note that said, "For all the times you covered for me when I was too stupid to appreciate it." The thing about being invisible for so long is that when people finally see you, it's disorienting. I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop, for someone to take credit for my work, for someone to tell me I wasn't management level. But Sarah never did. My team never did. My clients knew exactly who'd created their events. A year after I left Hammond and Associates, I planned Maya's wedding. It was small, intimate, exactly what she wanted. At the reception, she pulled me aside. "Remember when you told me you didn't know what you were supposed to do?" she said. "Look at you now. Partner in a thriving firm, respecting yourself enough to walk away from toxicity, building actual relationships with your family on your terms. You figured it out." I looked around the venue, every detail perfect, every guest happy, my name on the program as the event coordinator. "Yeah," I said. "I guess I did." Being seen isn't about forcing people to acknowledge you. It's about knowing your worth and finding places where that worth is valued. It's about understanding that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away from people who refuse to see you, even if those people are family. My parents were wrong about a lot of things, but they were right about one. Family should come first. They just didn't understand that sometimes you have to leave your family of origin to find your family of choice, the people who see you, value you, and celebrate you exactly as you are. And those people? They're worth fighting for.